Join the drink, buddy.
It's very hard. It's very hard to be a Broncos fan. It's very painful.
Oh, yeah, that was a tough one, buddy. That was a tough one. We got you this week, buddy. Don't worry. Kansas City's going to get what they fucking deserve this week.
They fucking better. Let's do a proper intro. Welcome back, ladies and D-Gents, to the Distinguished D-Gents podcast. Clearly, one of your many homes of degenerate gambling activities. I'm one half of the Distinguished D-Gents. My name is Steve, Big Bucks of Beta, and joining me, as always, it's the guy on the right, a.k.a. my partner in gambling. It is Jason Money Mansman. Oh boy. This week 10 was something to behold, to say the least. But a lot of good games, a lot of shocking outcomes overall. Boy, it's been a very fucking intense recap, just to say the least. I mean, between the Broncos game, the Sunday games, Thursday night football, like all of it was just week to bestow. I mean, got a couple numbers to run by you, but just before we even get into that, what was your biggest shock? What was your biggest takeaway that you took from this week 10 that kind of stood out?
The dogs returned. It was a dog week. I think what was it? Maybe 4-9 to the dogs, or favorites were like 4-9.
Three,
something like that.
It was 11. Dogs went 11-3 ATS in week 10. Only 3 favorites covered. One of which being your Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the dogs. The dogs are back in town. The sharps and the sports books did well. But honestly, we survived. I know you had a good week. I was a little down. I think this is the first week where I didn't make money, but I didn't lose any money either. I broke just about even. So not a horrible
Not
week.
bad. Not bad. Yeah, I don't know if you included our round robin bets in your income. I did for my numbers personally, just because it was a split, but either way, you were right. I definitely had a profitable week. 35 units in on the week, although that's kind of a fake number, and I'll explain it later in the episode, but overall 35 units in. I won 56 units back, so we had a profit of 20 units on the week. So I am back on the board. Big win for me. Much needed win after, I think it was 3 consecutive weeks of breaking even or not profiting really whatsoever. So Big Bucks is back. We're going hard next week. I can already warn you now, and I hope not to give it away. My best bet of the week has already been predetermined. I called it on the early line, and I was like, there's no way this number's going to stick. And let's just say I was correct. It is going in the opposite direction I had anticipated, though. And I am just hammering the shit out of this number, and I am 6 units deep already on a reroll, just on one team.
I think I know what game you're talking about. You are deep. Actually, yeah, I forgot. We made what, three units on the 3 units each on the court bet plays. Is that right? Something like
we
that.
made 4 units each. 4 units each on the court bet.
Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, actually 4 straight weeks up money.
There we go. Yeah, our round robin, unfortunately, could have came in more, but unfortunately, there was a game we had an under bet on that at the last second did not come through for us. That was fucking heartbreaking.
You could have been up what, 40 units, maybe 45.
Oh yeah, at least another 45, but. Unfortunately, that did not go our way. Such is the life of gambling, though. Another topic, though, speaking of the unders, it was an under week, though, believe it or not. The unders went 9-5, I think it was, and including some games that had really high.
When I said
that might have been. Yeah, unders went 9-5. A lot of big games too with high totals didn't end up hitting whatsoever. The main ones that come to mind were San Francisco and Tampa Bay with a total of 50.5. The Monday night game, Miami and the Rams, that was under 48.5. So was Detroit Houston. That was a weird fluky game. And then finally, I think we had like another big under on the oh, God, that's what it was. It was the Jets Arizona. That was one that I think a lot of sharps had a deadbolt over game, and that just fucking disappointed. So a lot of teams showed up, a lot of teams didn't. So I didn't know if that was part of your take for week 10. That was kind of my take. It was just like a lot of the teams we thought would show up did. But God, some of the other teams that I thought would give them a problem were just like total fucking no-shows. So, I mean, we're now into week 10. We're midway through the season. Playoff picture scenarios as well as future bet hedges are on the table now going into week 11. So, I mean, I think you have to really start determining. We said week 4. Now we know who these teams really are. We're about to really see. Is this the method we're going to ride with some of these teams for the rest of the year, or do we have to still play shit week by week?
Well, I think we're getting almost through the mid part of the season. How I think it's basically a tale of really 4 seasons, right? You got the first 4 weeks, which is basically the preseason, anything goes. You hit the middle of the year where it starts to be heavy favorites. People know how good the teams are. You get a lot of chalk. The public tends to do better. And now you're starting to get to the latter part of the year where anything goes and you never know what's going to happen. And that's sometimes, well, you know, especially with us, week 17, 18, we've had some really monster hits for those weeks. And then, of course, you have the playoffs, which is an entirely different animal. So
100%.
We're almost 2.3 of the season.
This is like, it's almost like, you know, the spring and the fall equinox, and then you have the summer and the winter solstice. We're back into like a solstice situation where just like the days are getting shorter, times are getting flukier, weather's playing a bigger factor too, and I think you're like that plays part of it as well. And just some of these teams, they've been playing for, we're looking at 10 straight weeks of football, no bye week, no extended rest, some of them coming off short rest too. And now this late in the season, we're going to see that even some of these good teams, or these teams that should be showing up, I think they're just kind of hitting that tailspin. They're just looking to the bye, and then maybe they'll come back to life, or maybe they'll just call it a season. But yeah, either way, we're like, we still got 8 more weeks of football to get through. And some of these teams, no team has been eliminated from playoff contention yet, believe it or not.
Yeah, which is crazy considering that one team, I'm not going to name names, literally has won their division already.
Yeah, we'll knock on the table for that. But and we'll end the episode too. We have our Thursday night football handicap as well for a very important NFC East battle with the Commies and the Eagles. So stay tuned to the end of the episode or check back in later. Probably at the next hour mark. We'll give our handicap then. Mansman, we got, I think, 13 games. We got to recap week 10, give our thoughts, give our handicap.
Yeah, let's turn through them quickly and move.
Yeah, man. We'll turn through them. Starting it off, we had the shit game of the year, which actually turned out not to be the shit game of the year, but it was definitely something at 9:30 in the morning Eastern time. New York Giants 17, Carolina Panthers, victors of 2 in a row, 20 was the final. They get the cover, they get the win as an underdog in Germany. And the under, unfortunately, hit in this game. It was my over of the week at 40.5. Just slightly missed. But we got together. We started the party early. Even had steak and eggs like true degents. Holy fuck. The Panthers have won 2 in a row against the other 2 worst teams in the league. I know Chuba Hubbard is the star of the game, in my opinion. I thought he was really the reason why the Panthers offense was able to succeed in a spot where I think I heard a lot of sharp saying like the one thing about the Giants defense was their rush defense. But I mean, 153 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young didn't also look too shabby, despite the low yardage, 15 for 25, no turnovers being the key, one touchdown in the air to, God, who is it? Jatavion Sanders. Jesus Christ, the Giants are still on auto fade.
Oh, by the
You
way,
said
did
it.
you hear? I don't know if it's official yet, but there's rumors that Daniel Jones might finally get benched.
I'll believe it when I see it. They're in the bye week. I'll believe it when I see it. What was I was going to ask you? Oh yeah, you mentioned in our last recap before we even handicapped the game. There's a short YouTube on it too where you basically told everyone if you want to be a clown, you want to bet on this Giants team to go ahead and do it, but it wasn't going to be us. Wasn't us. I bet on Carolina plus 6.5, so we started off the week right. But what was your biggest takeaway from this shitty Germany game? I mean, was it really punishment from 1945, or did this go exactly how we expected? Because I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure how to still take
it
it.
was pretty bad. Daniel Jones is honestly he's a backup XFL quarterback. You had a game with an XFL quarterback in Bryce Young against the backup XFL quarterback in Daniel Jones. Look, Giants had every opportunity to win the game, and Daniel Jones threw two killer interceptions. I think both in the red zone too.
Yeah,
That was it. Like, other than that, what was the handicap? Well, Carolina should be able to run the ball. They did, but they had no business winning. Bryce Young sucks. He missed a couple really wide open throws, but he didn't turn the ball over. Daniel Jones did, and somehow Carolina won the game. I don't know how.
it,
Greg Joseph missed the field goal. The Giants are terrible. They suck.
yeah. Giants missed a field goal, which would have been crucial for this game. Bryce Young, yeah, he missed a couple throws, but he does seem to be clicking more on this offense the more I watch him lately. Like I said, I know the Denver loss was horrendous. We called that the minute we saw it, but it was like after that game, it did seem like something oddly enough clicked with him where like he's finally kind of catching up to the speed of the NFL. Because there were a lot of plays too where he was pressured and instead of just cowering and crumbling like a fucking pancake, he broke free on a scramble. And I think that just made the difference. I think if Bryce Young can continue to do those kinds of plays, the Panthers are going to be a really weird team to look out for, especially if we're going to keep getting all these points when they play against shit teams. Now, they're on the bye for week 11, but week 12, boy oh boy, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City going into Carolina.
Yeah. I can't wait till Kansas City loses this week, and then they're laying 7.5 against Carolina, and they'll win by 80. Oh, week 12 is going to be brutal, man. There's 6 teams on the bye week 12. Yikes.
It's going to be brutal, and that's all the more reason we have to be sharp and make sure that we get these handicaps in order. But that's a look at. I have that circled. I swear to God, that game is circled, and it's Kansas City no matter what. All right,
Unless
moving on.
Buffalo, I don't want to think about.
No, I don't care. It'll be no matter what. Like I can't do it. I can't take Carolina in that spot. All right, moving on. The New England Patriots 16. Chicago 3. Nothing from Money Management.
Have you seen the story that Bears veterans want Tyson Bagent to start?
No, no way. That can't be true. No.
You keep going. I'm going to see if I could find it.
Well, so they did fire offensive coordinator. I forget his name, but the offensive coordinator for the Bears. He has been officially fired. Again, the same story kind of. Apparently, a lot of Bears veterans went to Eberflus and they kind of said like, "Look, we've had it with this coordinator. We're not winning with him. He has to go." And apparently, like that was just the decision, and that was done. So now they have a Shane Waldron was the guy who got fired. Thomas Brown is the new acting offensive coordinator for the Bears. Do you know who Thomas Brown is, Money Management?
The team's pass coordinator. I don't know anything
That's
else.
correct. He's the team's passing coordinator. He was previously fired as the offensive coordinator for one Carolina Panthers in Bryce Young's rookie year.
Oh my fucking! Just Bears might be auto fade.
They are on auto fade. This is the third week in a row they have lost and failed to cover the spread, so they do go on my auto fade list officially as of today. Thank fuck I did not bet this game, and that was like part of my handicap on last Friday. I was like, I'm picking the Bears, but like there's no way I'm betting this just because I had a bad feeling something really weird was going to happen. The Bears have also scored 27 points in the last 3 games. 27 points across 3 games. What the fuck has, other than this coordinator, like, what the fuck has happened to this Bears team? Like,
well, I think there's an obvious answer. They have an XFL quarterback. Oh, by the way, to follow up, according to Tim, what's his name? Oh, Tom Waddle, ESPN Chicago radio host and former Bears receiver, he reports that the Bears players weren't just pushing for Waldron to be relieved. They wanted Williams to also be benched in favor of Tyson Badgett. So
please let us get Tyson
Chicago
Badgett.
Caleb Williams is an XFL core. Look, they got a good. Think about this XFL. Well, now it's the UFL, whatever they call it now.
Yeah, the UFL.
Daniel Jones as a backup to Bryce Young, Caleb Williams. I mean, that's a hell of a roster there. Maybe after what's his name, Anthony Richardson flounders again, maybe he could be there too. Like, we got a whole XFL quarterback squad in the NFL now. I got a few options.
Maybe the NFL could buy out the UFL as a minor league situation. We could see people demoted, relegated to the minors. Like,
we have a future. I don't know any of the teams. A future Houston Roughneck. A future.
What is it? San Antonio Brahmas, DC Defenders.
Yeah, future Brahma. I got Caleb Williams as a future Brahma. Like, telling you, man. He is that is a Brahma right there. My God.
Yeah, Caleb Williams officially 0-2 now against other rookie quarterbacks. They're now catching 5.5 against Green Bay next week. All I'm gonna say is watch out.
Well, you know me, I bet on Green Bay every week anyway, so you know what's gonna happen.
You cannot hop off Green Bay, man, I swear.
All right, what's the next? But yeah, what do we got next?
That's fair. Next up, oh boy, I'm gonna start drinking again. Denver 14, Kansas City 16. Oh, god damn it. Okay, all I'm gonna say is refs are terrorists. Refs are terrorists for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is their Allah. All glory be to Mahomes. I say this because there was a crucial third down sack where, I mean, nobody touched the Denver Broncos linebacker. I mean, not even close to touched. And he just sacks Mahomes on a crucial third down, would have turned the ball over. Pretty sure it would have been the play where Kansas City, or I'm pretty sure it was the drive or the drive before Kansas City kicked the field goal down 14-13 to go up by 2. Other than that, I mean, on one hand, I think a lot of people are praising Bo Nix. They're saying how good he looked. They're saying like he kept his composure, and it's like, okay, maybe it's true. I saw a lot of nothing in the second half with this Broncos offense. That fucking rookie running back too, like he broke free for a couple runs, but overall, Denver really still has no running offense, and that's going to be a major problem moving forward. Audric Estime, yeah, he ended up becoming the bell cow back for the Broncos. I don't know why. I don't know what it is with Sean Payton against Javonte Williams, and he just will not make him the feature back for whatever reason. I really don't know why. At this point, it's like, you want to have feelers out? That's fine. If you want to do that week 16, why the fuck is it week 10? Crucial game against the Chiefs, and you're throwing a fourth string running back for the fuck of it. I mean, it kind of worked, but like, again, just seemed fucking weird. Didn't really seem like Bo Nix just could lead a drive to keep getting the scores down the field. Unfortunately, like, Denver just didn't do enough, despite the fact that in the 4-minute drill, Bo Nix executed it in that Broncos team. They executed it perfectly. I mean, I don't have a bad word to say about that 4-minute drill. They did everything to a T. You did everything that you needed to do to beat this team. That's football, man. Sometimes you get a blocked field goal to win the game. It just sucks. It's a heartbreaker. It sucks, but credit to the Chiefs. They pulled off another victory out of their ass. Refs are terrorists. That's it. I'm going to go back to drinking. You can give us your thoughts now.
Okay. Oh, by the way, this is one thing that concerns me for this Bills-Chiefs game. The referee crew that's calling the game, Chiefs are 5-0 when this referee crew is doing the game. So we already see how this is going to go. It's going to be 13-11 or whatever, however many they have, 17-11. Look, I'm going to, the Chiefs, they find a ridiculous way to win. I think to me, Buffalo is looking potentially to be the bet of the year, because when you look at how Kansas City's been skirting by games, they're now playing like a good team on the road, going to be a crazy environment. The Bills always get up for that game. I'll save that for the next show. Honestly,
the question,
my takeaways for Denver, like, you got a rookie quarterback, you have zero cap room because you're paying Dumba Russell Wilson to throw touchdown passes for Pittsburgh. Like, you guys aren't supposed to be good, and you're hanging in there. Like, you guys are pretty good. I think Denver has a really bright future. Bo Nix seems legitimate.
Can Will Lutz go? No, fuck the future. We don't have a kicker. Will Lutz, can he just go? I'm tired of Will Lutz. The guy's a bum. 2 missed field goals once again. Should have missed a field goal. Literally, by the way, happy anniversary 1 year to the Broncos miracle with Buffalo. We were there where Will Lutz shanks a fucking 40-yarder but gets a second try and makes it. This honestly feels like payback for that moment. It really does, because there was a missed field goal too by Lutz earlier in the game that probably would have won. Probably would have been a different outcome, but I mean that's football. Like I said,
the block kick was tough because your guy got steamrolled.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I think you'd be very proud of your performance. It's still there for you. Like, when you think about the AFC, other than the Chargers, Colts lost, Jets lost, Miami still 3-6. Cincinnati lost. So
the Houston
really ground. Houston lost.
No, the Houston loss was key. That was key because that kept us in the 7th spot. So the Denver Broncos right now are a playoff team, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm of the mindset of, like, if I'm a playoff team, I want to be for real. I love the Broncos. I love the progression I'm seeing. I don't want it to get twisted. We're not a playoff team, though. We are not beating anybody anywhere in the playoffs right now. And with this lineup.
But here's your hope. Here's your hope, honestly. You do enough to sneak into the playoffs. It's a good learning experience for Bo Nix. He goes to Buffalo week 1 of the playoffs. You lose by 28. Well, no, it's Buffalo. We'll play like shit. You'll lose by 3. We'll find a way to fuck up like we always do. But it'll be a good experience. Like, that's all. Like, remember the Bills with Josh Allen. They needed the Houston game. Josh flipping the ball behind his back, being an idiot. Like, sometimes you just need that experience as a young quarterback, young team starting out. But I think the future is bright. Like, again, you guys have no cap space. Give it a couple years when all that dead money starts to come off the books. I have high hopes for Denver. Like, I see Denver, the Chargers, Kansas City. That's going to be a good division, I think, moving forward. And
I just have a bad feel. I just have a bad feeling that even when you're right, I feel like Sean Payton is like old man Rivers, and he's just going to find a way to fuck that up. Or even if he gets the money, he's going to bring someone in that doesn't work. Or it's going to be like, we're just going to get all these rookies still and just have all this money for no... Like, we'll just keep paying Bo Nix and Pat Surtain, and we're going to keep relying on rookies. And they're just going to keep being a fucking team that squeaks in or ends up 8-9 and doesn't make it in. Because that's just Sean Payton. That's his way, apparently. I don't know. I'm still not sold on Payton either. But, again, Bo Nix's future, 100% bright. I'll leave it at that. All right. Yeah. Next up, we got... Let's take a look here. It is the San Francisco 49ers, 23, Tampa Bay Bucks, 20. Niners get the win on the last-second field goal from Jake Moody. Tampa Bay, I think, has now lost 6 in a row, maybe. 5 in a row? I think it's 5. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Bucks are dead man walking, unfortunately, for the NFC South. They are number 2 in the fucking division. Atlanta, it could be spiraling out of control soon enough, but I mean, God, the Bucks just once again heartbreak situation. They don't get the win against the Niners in a much win. Both teams came in a much needed win situation. The Niners just squeaked it out. Return of Christian McCaffrey was nice, but yeah.
Problem for Tampa is they're 2.5 games back because Atlanta beat them twice, so that hurts.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield didn't have that good of a game either. 18 for 29, 116, only 1 touchdown. I think that was the problem. Like, this Bucs team, like, earlier, they were really good when they were able to move the ball offensively, when they were able to score, despite the lack of defense. Baker was, like, almost a no-show, in my opinion, for this matchup, and I think that was the problem. Like, every other week he's been able to get the ball down the field, regardless of who it was. He's been able to find somebody open. This week, it was like the Niners defense just did enough to stop him. And that was kind of the difference. But, I mean, the Niners are just, God, they are not as good either this year. I'm not sure. I don't think it's so much of a takeaway from the game itself. It's really the takeaways from the teams.
I agree with that. The Bucs, I think, looking at the Bucs schedule, I think there might be a turnaround because you have to remember Tampa Bay has been playing some legitimate competition, which they're not normally used to doing. I think they have a couple games coming up with Carolina, with the Giants, that they could probably win because they don't. I mean, their defense is just ghastly. Tampa. Let me see. I'm going to look real quick at their upcoming record. Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys with no Dak, Panthers, Saints. Honestly, they could have 1 loss for the remainder of the year. That's a possibility.
What's the win total right now for Tampa?
I might think about flicking a chip on Tampa to win the division because their schedule sucks. I might double down on that. Take a flyer on them to win. But anyway, San Francisco, agree with your assessment completely. I don't know. There's something with this team. They missed 3 field goals. They're kind of reminding me of like the Chiefs of the NFC a little bit, but like not as good. Where I don't know. There's a couple times they're just losing some really stupidly weird games. I have no confidence in – I don't have a lot of confidence in the Niners, to be quite honest with you.
I don't blame you either. Like, I mean, they had that weird fluky loss to Minnesota, but we wrote that off as like, well, they always lose to Minnesota in this spot. And then they lost to Kansas City, but they lost like real bad to Kansas City. But then we kind of – like, I think a lot of people have been writing off San Francisco as like excuse after excuse after excuse. Well, they're decimated in injuries. They don't have a running game. What's his name? Christian McCaffrey's out, and then it was the other fucking running back they had. He was hurt too. They had no wide receivers with Brandon Ayuk. He's out for the years, and it's like I get it, but it's also like I just at some point it's like okay, you're getting Christian McCaffrey back. You know you're without Brandon Ayuk. You still have George Kittle. You still have Deebo Samuel. You still have your starting quarterback. There really should be no excuse. And to put this kind of
Arizona game was the alarm bell game. The Arizona game.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm not saying San Francisco's on auto fade. I just think this is now like we've seen enough throughout the years that San Francisco, now the tide is changing again. Got to stop taking the points with them if it gets too high.
Yeah, I'd be hesitant laying big with them. Agreed. Yep.
And next week it's 6.5 against Seattle. So, oh boy, we'll see where that takes us. All right, your Buffalo Bills 30, Indianapolis Colts 20 was the final. Joe Flacco is a pumpkin, and he is benched once again. It is now Anthony Richardson back at the starting quarterback position for the Indianapolis Colts. Bills weird look-ahead spot for the Kansas City Chiefs. We both watched this game in tandem with my Broncos, so while we were watching the Chiefs, you were also keeping an eye on your Bills. Oh boy, your Bills they have injury problems, and they didn't look the greatest against the Colts. So, what's the status of everyone on the Bills? What is the situation here?
Yeah, no, not what you want. Bills are, I hate to say it because I don't know. This Bills team's starting to look pretty good again. They're drawing me back in, even though I declared the season over. I declared the season over. I'm pretty sure. When did I declare the season over? I think it was halftime of the Jets game or something.
Yeah, it was last week.
Declared the season. Oh yeah, when they gave up the Hail Mary to Aaron Rodgers, their season ended. They draw you back in because that was just a good win. Like they had the look ahead spot. Their offense was decimated, and what does their defense do? They come out and cause 4 turnovers. Like that's how good teams win a game. They find a way, and I don't have much on the Bills. They found a way to win. I think tough for Joe Flacco. He started against 2 good teams. Anthony Richardson's a bum. I get why they you kind of have to start him, but he sucks. They're not going anywhere. I thought Flacco was the better choice. I actually thought for a while that Flacco might lead the Colts back, but Bills did enough. They did enough to win. There's not much else to say. They got a huge game against the Chiefs. I think the Bills are good enough to do it. They've had good success in the regular season. I think they are going to do it. But, we'll see. It was a good win. Not going to get super excited. It was a look-ahead spot. They did what they had to do. Good job by the defense. They definitely saved the game.
Yeah, so I just threw up in our group chat real quick because you were looking at some Tampa Bay lines, so I wanted to share it with the people and not just say it out loud. Tampa Bay Bucks to win the division is 5-1 right now. Over win total is 8.5, and that's only plus 110. My advice is flick a chip maybe on the win total. If you're gonna bet it though, you might as well bet the division because unless you look at Atlanta and think they're gonna win 10. I mean, with 7 games left, they're 4-6, so that would be Tampa at 11, but we say 10. So Tampa's looking, let's just say 10-7 or 9-8. Unless you think Atlanta's going to do enough to stay ahead. Maybe you look at the win total at over 8.5. I mean, 2 wins against Carolina, a win against the Giants, a win against the Raiders, you're at 8-6. And then you just need a win against either the Chargers or you need a win against New Orleans. And boom, you hit it. So
you forgot Dallas. You forgot the ghost of the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, and then you have the ghost of the Dallas Cowboys at Jerry World, too. On prime time, so you don't have to worry about the sun.
Who cares? They're toast. Dallas probably not going to win a game. But, we'll
speaking
for that.
Speaking of burnt toast, let's get to the actual shit game of the week, as dubbed by me, Big Bucks of Beta. Minnesota Vikings 12, The Jacksonville Jaguars, Mac Jones, 7. Mac Jones jawing his mouth off on an opening drive touchdown, acting like he's hot shit. Literally proceeds to do nothing for the remaining 3 quarters of that game. Mansman, your thoughts? Because I have a rant. So I want you to go.
Yeah. This game. First off, if you had Jacksonville team under, congratulations. You heard it here first. Sorry about the spread. Should have hit it, but Sam Darnold threw 7,000 interceptions to keep the game close. Literally 3 interceptions in the red zone. That was annoying. Other than that, though, it is as I expected. Big bucks, take it away.
Yeah, first of all, the Minnesota Vikings, go fuck yourselves. You had a 7-point spread against Mac Jones, and Sam Darnold's out there running like he's seeing ghosts. Who's the backup quarterback for the Vikings? Honest to God, who is the backup quarterback right now? No, it's not Kellen Mond. It can't be Kellen Mond still. It's let's see here. Nick Mullins. How did Nick Mullins not make an appearance in this fucking game? Sam Darnold, I think it was 2 turnovers straight in the red zone. 2. How the fuck was this guy not benched in a 12-7 game? Minnesota, dear, I had a feeling they were going to crater. I talked myself out of it. I am royally pissed I did not bet this Jags +7 because I liked it at 4.5 when I thought it was Trevor Lawrence, but I heard Mac Jones and I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm not betting this game. It's staying out. That's it. Glad I talked myself into at least not betting it, but little pissed that I didn't like the Jags +7 when I liked it at +4.5. Love the logic there. Oh, wait. Here's why I like the logic. Mac Jones. This smarmy little cocksucker who thinks he's hot shit in one drive. Listen to this shit. Because I got it. 111 yards, 2 picks. Quarterback rating, 38.3. And I'm trying to find the stats, and I can't find it. And I have to give credit. I think this was the Action Network that came up with this. They literally said in 3 quarters of football with Mac Jones, apparently it was comparably worse than one Kendall Hinton of the Denver Broncos during the COVID years, where there was more offense from him than Mac Jones in this game.
Oh, by the way, you didn't mention ESPN QBR out of 100, 12.7.
You're kidding me.
I think I could put on pads. I think I could get a 12.7 if I put on pads. Yeah, that's bad.
I mean, holy fuck, Mac Jones. Thank you for reminding me why I was never going to bet on you. Like, it was the game where I was like right and wrong at the same time, and that's what pisses me off. Because it's like, I feel like I should have made money on this game, and I just didn't. But I'm also glad I didn't. It was just so... This was like the most infuriating game that I didn't watch. Because like I just saw the ticker, and it's like, wow, the Vikings are still down by 7. Wow, the Vikings kicked another field goal. Oh, look, another pick. And then it was like, oh, they're driving. There we go. Oh, another pick.
Literally, yeah.
And then, God, how many turnovers? I think it was the first team ever to have 3 turnovers and no touchdowns, but win a game. I think it was like 196 straight that teams who have thrown 3 picks and not scored a touchdown would lose 196 in a row. Mac Jones found a way to make sure that they were the first. So I guess he's going to make history for something. I mean, holy fuck.
This
guy is bad.
The Sam Darnold swoon is in effect. Time to Time to start selling your Viking stock if you have them. We've seen this from Darnold before. The Sam Darnold swoons as the season goes on. It is Sam Darnold swoon season.
Fair enough. Again, if I could find the fucking the stats per quarter, I'll have to send it to you. It's literally like hysterical how bad Mac Jones was. Okay, next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Jesus Christ. Am I going to get this score right? Was it 17-20? That's what it sounds like it was. Yeah, 17-20 was 17-20 was the final. Falcons lost to the fucking New Orleans Saints on the goddamn dead cat bounce.
Yep.
Although, to be fair, they left 9 points on the fucking board because Young-Ho Koo, I guess, forgot he was an Atlanta Falcon, thought he was a New Orleans Saint, because he's New Orleans' new Lord and Savior after that game. That's wasn't a New Orleans win, much more of a Falcons loss, just finding new ways to lose, I guess, in a spot where he's normally successful.
I like what you said. I don't take a lot out of that game. You got an ultra-motivated Saints against the Falcons team that didn't play well. I discounted the dead cat bounce a little bit more than I should have, admittedly. But
No. I don't think we did at all. I don't think we did at all.
They played super motivated. They played motivated. You could tell.
And did it make a difference?
To play bad. I mean,
that's the problem. Really,
yeah.
I mean, you look at the Carolina when they played the Raiders on their dead cat bounce. They beat the fuck out of the Raiders. What was the other dead cat bounce situation? The Jets, I think, when they fired Saleh. One bad week, and then the week after, I think they beat the shit out of Houston on Thursday Night Football. That was a weird spot, but that was like, okay, they picked it up. This was not like we didn't discount the dead cat bounce. This was like Atlanta. They should have won. Young-Ho Koo, 9 times out of 10, makes those kicks. Maybe misses the 50-yarder, but they left 9 points off the board. You're talking a whole, like, in that game, the only reason New Orleans was in the lead, 20-17, was because of the 2 missed field goals prior. You're talking within 2 minutes when New Orleans had it. Would have been a much different drive if they were down 3. But they were up, so they were able to punt and get rid of it, and then let Atlanta drive. But I'll let you continue. I like that's all I wanted to say. Like, I don't think it was a discount dead cat.
I didn't really have much on it because at the end of the day, I mean, you had Young-Ho Koo miss 3 kicks. Atlanta didn't play well. The Saints were super motivated. They still, it was a 3-point game. And look, you know me, what I always say. Team goes, wins their Super Bowl. What am I doing next week?
Fading the shit out of them.
Guess what?
Yeah, by the way.
They're catching at home against Cleveland off the bye. Hallelujah.
By the way, I think we're going to have a talk because I'm looking at Atlanta's future schedule. That plus 500 is looking good. So Falcons go to Denver next week. They then have to host the LA Chargers. They then have to go to Minnesota. Then they go to Vegas. They have to host Danny Dimeball and the Giants. They then go to Washington. And then they end the season hosting Carolina. God knows where that team will be, too.
Oh, wow. It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
I mean, I count 3 losses right there. The Commanders, the Chargers, and, I mean, you know me. I'm going to pick my Broncos, but we'll see.
I like Denver, too, actually.
Yeah, so I just... God, no. And then Cleveland is coming to New Orleans next week. I mean, is that shit game of the week contender or what? Jameis Winston revenge spot or Saints revenge spot on Jameis Winston?
Packers, Bears, Jaguars, Lions could be bad. Raiders, Dolphins could be bad. Colts, Jets with Anthony Richardson. The Jets once again. Let me save it for our Jets recap.
All right. We're getting there, though. Moving on. Pittsburgh, 28. Washington, 27. Mike Tomlin, once again as a dog, gets us the victory. What a game. What a game from Russell Wilson. What a game from this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Jaden Daniels, man, that game just I hate to say it, that solidified his rookie of the year. Even though he lost, to put up that performance against Mike Tomlin when Bo Nix was like a no-show, that just fucking sealed it for me. Washington, you have your franchise guy. Unfortunately, they just didn't get the win. Mike Tomlin, 2-minute drill. I think it was the long bomb to Pickens or their new or Mike Williams. Mike Williams, that's right.
Game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, I mean,
you hear him trolling Aaron Rodgers? Oh, I ran on the red line over there.
Yeah, he ran on the red line, all right. Think about it this way. He went from one of the most dysfunctional organizations to one of the most well-rounded, established organizations.
Yeah.
And winning. I mean, okay, so let's ask this, because I don't have too much takeaways from the game in general. Russ has won 3 in a row with Mike Tomlin. Was Tomlin right benching Justin Fields now?
I think you got to say games. I think you got to say yes, just based on how the offenses looked, and they got to. I'll tell you, man, they were game of the week. I think Ravens Steelers could very well be game of the week. There's some really. It's funny. There's a lot of shit games this week, but Ravens Steelers, Bills Chiefs. I think Broncos Falcons could be an interesting one. Bengals Chargers. Like, I think there's a few really good Commanders Eagles Thursday night. I think could be great. There's some good fucking game. And yeah, Washington Pittsburgh. I mean, not much to say. I think it's game of the week. Like 2 really good teams, 2 playoff teams, separated by a point. Like that's what you hope for as a football fan. That was a great game.
Yes, sir. All right, and Washington Thursday Night Football going to the Eagles. Make sure you guys tune in to the end of the episode. We'll give out our take. All right, 4 o'clock slate. We are now jumping into. That's right. This fucking game. This one broke our hearts. Mansman, I'll let you talk about it. The Tennessee Titans 17, the Chargers 27. The Chargers do get the win and the cover. We threw 39 under in this game. And in the 2-minute drill, despite not doing shit for 45 minutes, or no, that's not even 45 minutes. Let's say 58 minutes of football. Will Levis decided to be a quarterback. The Chargers just decided to say fuck it on defense, and they broke our hearts and killed our D-Gent parlay. Our
discount Josh Allen. We had a cash out for $330 something. And we were waiting and hoping, and then boop, 30-yard touchdown pass from discount Josh Allen, and that was it. So that one hurt. It was my best bet, though, and I told you what was going to happen. Titans suck. Chargers are well coached, and let's be honest, it was a boring game. No sweat. I mean, we had a sweat for the over-under, but the game itself, Chargers won easy.
Yeah,
Chargers
this was my under.
That's a playoff team. Chargers are
it
a
hurt.
Playoff team.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all but 2 games away from being locked in. Because they sit right now at the 6th, but they have a 82% chance to make the playoffs now. Even if they lose next week, they're a 72% shoe-in going into week 12. That's if they lose.
Yeah, beating Denver helped. That was big.
They beat Denver. They beat... God, who else have they beaten? Oh, that's right. It's a lot of shit teams. That's one of the Sharps I listened to earlier. They made the argument for Cincy. They haven't really played a lot of big offenses. They played a lot of teams with defenses. That's why they've been a deadbolt under. But that's a handicap for our Friday episode. We'll get into that at that point. God, yeah, I think my takeaway is you really have to start taking the Chargers seriously. Although, I think two things are true. They really haven't played anyone of a stiff offensive caliber like Cincinnati, like they will on Sunday Night Football. But they're just like, this is not the Brandon Staley Chargers where you just don't know what you get week in and week out. This is a well-coached, well-disciplined team. And you're seeing the difference. It is like night and day from years past. So, got to give credit where credit's due, unfortunately.
Jim Harbaugh's coach of the year, and it's not even close. I know he won't win it because they normally give it to the best team. You can make the case Andy Reid winning all these games could be, but I think I'd give Jim Harbaugh the nod. Maybe Dan Quinn will get it, but I'd give Jim Harbaugh.
Could be Dan Quinn. Could be Dan Campbell might, in my opinion, might win it just from leading the Lions from fucking uncertainty to as far as they've come now. So that's a point. Oh yeah, here we go. This was my fade of the week. Pretty sure this was like another dog of the week pick from you. Arizona 31, the New York Jetropolitans. What was it?
Remember, it was our double fade.
That's right, double fade. Not sure why we both didn't go heavy on this one together, but I know I had money on this. I'm glad that fucking came through. That was literally the best no sweat of all the games this week, especially after I was dejected during the 4:00 games. I was fucking like, I had the tequila bottle in hand. I was just like, this just sucks. It hurts. But then I'm watching the Cardinals.
Steve went goodbye.
Yep, and then I didn't go goodbye, but I remember we put on the Jets, and we were like, let's put on our friends at Let's Talk Jets Radio. And I was like, you know what makes everything better? Watching Let's Talk Jets Radio during a bad Jets game. Because they really do cheer us up during these bad times. I mean, I didn't expect the performance from Arizona. I really didn't expect much effort from the Jets either, but like, God, talk about giving up the minute you can. That's what this Jets team did. It was like the minute, the very minute.
I didn't know it was going to be like that.
No. It was just like the minute the Jets faced adversity, the team gave up.
It was over. Bro, literally.
Except for Aaron Rodgers and Devontae.
4 plays into the game, Arizona scored a touchdown. Yep, this is over.
I mean,
be honest,
God.
it was what I expected. Like, James Conner didn't even run the ball that well. Like,
no, I know.
It was just so weird. And the defense.
I was going to say, did Kyler do anything spectacular?
I don't know.
I'm trying to see, did your favorite quarter?
Yeah. Again.
Listen to Kyler's stats: 266 passing yards,
wow,
1 touchdown, a 126.7 QBR.
James Conner 80 yards.
I thought the Jets were supposed to have like a good defense. I can't say that anymore after you let Arizona do all this. Like, I know we keep saying like Arizona's a scrappy team. They're like real. I think we need to elevate them a little bit, not because of like the Jets, but they're just consistently winning games. They are consistently like out. Like I don't know if like it would be safe to say they're outperforming all of their opponents. I don't know if it's all that, but they're just winning. They're finding ways to win. They're not, and they're mixing it up too. It's not like having Kyler Murray run around like a toddler every play. It's like they actually seem to be developing into a well-rounded team.
God, that Dolphins game really just feels like the turning point because they had beaten the Chargers, which I thought was really, they were lucky to do that. They had come off getting killed by the Packers after that big win. And it just, that Dolphins game with Tua coming back looked like the perfect time for them to die. They won that game, and then they basically played Chicago and the Jets, 2 shit teams, and literally, dirt napped them. And as to the Jets, by the way, if anyone's interested, Jets -4 at home against the Colts. Anyone want to fucking lay more points with the Jets this stage in the season? Anybody? Anyone interested in that? I don't think I can.
I guess. Okay, you have to think of it this way. Do you trust Aaron Rodgers over Anthony Richardson? I think that's the logic you have to go into that. But honestly, I don't. I don't trust them any different than one or the other.
It's debatable. I don't know if I do.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily trust Anthony Richardson, but like I don't know if a dead cat bounce applies to a starting quarterback getting his job back. But I mean, if it worked for Bryce Young in this instance, I don't know why it couldn't work for him.
Yeah, maybe that was the wake-up call he needed. I mean, look, for the Jets, the problem is, and I think I'm starting to learn the Dream Crusher loss. I have to remember, like sometimes the Dream Crusher loss, the team bounces back. Like I think that was Miami. Like I should have been on Miami because they had the Dream Crusher loss against the Bills that basically ended their prayers of the division. And then they came back with a strong effort. And I think with the Jets, it was like they had lost the 2 games. They were going into that Houston game. It was basically their last gasp. But I think the Jets are toast now. Aaron Rodgers had a 27.2 ESPN QBR. He's done. Jets are done. See ya. Goodbye.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, and yeah, there's no leads right now as who their next coach is going to be. So I think it was Tyson from Let's Talk Jets Radio that he was talking like, who the fuck would want to come to this organization? They're not going to get the free reign. No, I don't think he would. I really do. I think Rex Ryan would not do it. He has a cushy ESPN job. He wants it, but he wants to do it. I give it to Bill. I just say, Bill, take the keys, do whatever you want. Like Bill's the kind of guy you could do. Belichick.
Bro, you don't remember the history of how the Jets?
Oh no, I do. Oh, I know, I do. That's why I think if you're Woody Pay or whoever the fuck Woody Johnson, if you're Woody Johnson, I think you go to Bill and you're like, "What's your number? Here's the keys. I'm leaving."
You know what? If you're Ambassador Johnson, here's what you should do. You know how what you do is you go to President Trump, who you seemingly have a good relationship with, and you ask the president, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, excuse me, who should the next Jets head coach be? And Trump will say something crazy like, Matt Gaetz or one of these conspiracy theorists. And then
you mean the future U.S. Attorney General, Matt Gaetz?
Yeah, someone like off the wall, a
walking peta. Oh Jesus!
You're in the federal government. Be careful.
Yeah, I can't.
Vivek, someone, anybody. Honestly, Trump, Mr. President, we need you to make the Jets great again. Literally pick anybody. They can't do it.
Adam Gase. He'll pick Adam Gase.
Better than Ulbrich. Oh, by the way, the Jets are having tackling practice this week. Congratulations. You are literally a high school football team. Just end this fucking... Okay.
Yeah.
If anything, you want to be a clown, you want to bet the Jets -4, God bless you. I'm not going to do it. You want to lay points with the Jets? Go ahead. I wouldn't do it. You want to be a clown? Go ahead. Good luck.
The thing with gambling we have to remember is limitations and restraints. This is a game you just restrain yourself from betting. You don't go anywhere near it. You just enjoy the shit show. If you're a true degenerate and you do gamble this game, listen to Money Mansman. Do you want to be a clown? Do you want to bet the Jets? I'll see you crying on Let's Talk Jets Radio. All right, last 4 o'clock game. The Philadelphia Eagles molly-whopped the shit out of the Dallas Cowboys. 31-6 was the final. Or 34-6, not 31-6. Jerry Jones needs to go. Jerry Jones needs to stop. Like, this is my official call, and trust me, I've seen a lot. We've all seen a lot of bad Dallas Cowboys takes, a lot of bad Dallas Cowboys fans, a lot of bad games. I'm not even going to completely blame Cooper Rush for this one. Let me get this straight. Mike McCarthy knows he's a dead man walking in this season, essentially. Just lost his starting quarterback for the year. Is starting Cooper Rush. You go into a game, you're leading. You have your backup leading a drive with no hope that you're actually going to win, and you're fucking overpaid number one wide receiver cannot see a floater, not like a hard ball, not like a 90-mile-an-hour fast, a floater. He cannot see a floater because your stadium is letting in sunlight to the point in the end zone. It is blocking the vision of everyone facing that direction.
You would think that like Dallas would have a home field advantage with that and know to go the other way. Like, did they never?
Or they would think. Like, or they would think. Like, I don't know. Maybe for Mike McCarthy, well, the sun's in that direction. We're now facing this. Maybe we should, I don't know, run the ball. Oh, wait, that's right. You went and got Ezekiel Elliott instead of a Derrick Henry because you didn't have the money for him. Even though you clearly did because you waited till the last fucking minute to sign Dak and you waited till the last fucking minute to sign CeeDee Lamb. But you couldn't have sacrificed, I don't know, $5 million from each of them and just signed a Derrick Henry who would have ran the ball down their throat. Nope, can't do that. So this is just like the Cowboys are just such a literally in terms of organizational dysfunction. It's like the Jets and the Cowboys are like right there underneath. Like,
look, the Cowboys' problem is they hitch their wagon a lot like Denver, but Denver's getting lucky. When you hitch your wagon to a mediocre quarterback, this is what happens. I mean, let's be honest. Dak Prescott had a great year last year. Other than that, he's been a mediocre quarterback who gets a lot of stats but doesn't win games. He's very good at accumulating stats and not winning. And now this year, the defense is toast. Dak Prescott is, well, now he's out for the year. But he was essentially playing a below-average quarterback anyway. The team has no running game. They can't survive. They're terrible. They're probably not going to win a game. Their season's over.
And Jerry Jones thinks that like this is the best thing they could do.
I want to call to task the Sharps who bet Dallas 7.5. Like,
oh what? Yeah, let's have a chat. Let's
come on, really?
Do we need to call them by name? I want to. I really do because this was. Ooh, well, Cooper Rush is 5-1 as a starter. Well, how many years ago was that? That was how many offensive linemen ago? That was back when the Cowboys were playing who? In a shit season. Eagles were, I mean, for better or worse, you have to admit the Eagles are a playoff team.
They got like a million turnovers. They could run the ball. They had great wide receivers. Now Dallas, basically their team is CeeDee Lamb. They have no running game. They have no defense. They have no special teams and no coaching. They have nothing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, don't forget. In the trade deadline, too, they went out of their way to send a 4th-round pick for, oh, God, what's this fucker's name? That's how irrelevant he is. Literally, like...
Can they play defense?
Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, okay.
They sent a 4th-round pick for a Jonathan Mingo. Think of it this way. They offloaded Amari Cooper for a 6th. The Bills, I think, even gave up a 5th. Like, you'd have to correct me. The Bills gave up, like, a 5th to get Amari Cooper from the Browns.
That hasn't worked out for us so well, though. He's been hurt with the wrist.
I don't care. I don't care. The point of the matter is, like, how do I put this? The Cowboys basically believe that Jonathan Mingo was more valuable at the 4th round than Amari Cooper would be at a 5th. I'm not saying Amari Cooper would come back, but you couldn't have gone to Cleveland and been like, hey, Can you ask Amari if he would be willing to come back? Because, like, we need help. What's the price?
Well, what I don't understand is your quarterback got hurt. Why not just it's over? Like, your quarterback got hurt. Just it's over. Take this opportunity to play young guys, tank the season, regroup, get some of the. Well, I guess you can't really get the money away because Dak and they're a mess.
Guaranteed.
Like
but by the way,
Danny Dime bought $80 trillion.
First of all, I don't want to hear the words sharp, better, and Dallas Cowboys ever again this season. I really don't. Like again, remind me. What was the logic of betting on Cooper Rush? I really want to know. Like,
someone said he was the best backup quarterback in football. Sharp podcast.
I think we should be getting more views. I think we can do better than them. I think we are doing better than them, quite frankly. Sharps have had a lot of bad takes. That's the worst I've heard.
Yeah, they've had some fucking doozies this year. Some, like, really. They bet the Jets every week. They were betting the Giants -6.5 this week. They were betting Dallas plus 7.5. Like,
there was only one sharp I heard bet the New York Giants, but he is admittedly a Giants fan, and he even admitted the bias. He
I thought I heard a couple people that were saying, "Oh, Giants 6.5, like this is a great spot for them."
Oh no, it was the spot. It was because it's a favorite on an international game. That's all it was. It wasn't that the Giants were good. It was just they were the favorite in an international game. Bet the favorite. But yeah, still a doozy. And not us. Not us here at the Distinguished Degens. We looked at that game. We're like, why are the Giants laying 6.5 ever? Regardless of who.
Okay, let's run through the two primetime games because it's getting late.
Yeah, I got nothing left for it. It's the Lions and Houston Texans. 23-20 was the final, or was it 26-23? Either way, came down to a last-minute field goal. Detroit, despite the 5 fucking interceptions from Jared Goff. Welcome back to reality, Jared. Jesus Christ. I literally went to sleep. I was and also because of the alcohol, but I went to sleep because I saw this game. I got to halftime and I was like, wow, my parlay's dead. Because I had a remaining parlay. I had 4-leg parlay. I had one team left, and it was Detroit Lions money line. 5-1 parlay, and I was like, this game's dead. Went to bed. Imagine my surprise when I wake up and I'm 5 units richer. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
I made it to Detroit's interception on the first drive, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep. Again, credit to Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They find a way to win no matter what. Houston crumbling before our very eyes. The sophomore slump is real.
That good. Finally, I told you they weren't that good. They had a terrible score differential, and it's finally catching up with them. The only problem is their division totally sucks. So, how did the Bills lose to this team? God, to be fair, they are injured, but
yeah, they are very, very injured.
They're negative 2-point differential at 6-4. They're terrible.
Oh my Lord. All right, Monday Night Football, ending it off. Miami 23, Rams 15. Rams did a lot on the field except scoring. Dolphins, God, it just seemed like they did enough to get away with it. Didn't really seem like a good win, but they just did enough. I think Tua had 2 interceptions in this game. Matt Stafford, I think it was 3 weeks in a row, didn't get sacked at all. Got sacked like 4 times against this Dolphins team. The Rams O-line, like with the starters, I'm having questions again. The Rams, I think, are just like, they were a team, they were looking good with the backups. Looked like they were getting together. Then the starters came back and just kind of fell back to their old ways. And now they're laying 4 against the New England, who sacked the shit out of like Caleb Williams. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this Rams team anymore. I can never seem to get them right.
Yeah, me neither. I was stupid. I wanted to play Miami. I should have played Miami. I told you, Miami is the Rams of the AFC, and when in doubt, you should take the points. And I didn't listen to my own advice, so that was stupid. I mean, there's not much to say. These felt like two pretty even teams, and they were both making some critical mistakes, and it just Miami was, I feel like Miami was more the desperate team. They were coming off that gut punch of a loss to Buffalo, so I should have expected they would win. And yeah, I should have taken the points, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is. I don't know. Both teams
Well,
are just mediocre.
well, luckily for you, I took the points with Miami, although it was it was on a hedge. I had a underdog round robin going, so I bet this like way earlier in the week. It was Denver, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and the Rams when it was a pick 'em. And I had three of the four legs hit, so it came into Monday night. I had Rams -1 left to go. So I was in for 2 units. It was about to win 25 units. So I took another 5 units. I hedged it on Miami plus 2.5. Thank fuck I did that. So that's the reason I was up 20 units on the week, because I got 10 units back from the hedge. But yeah, glad I did that. Glad I was in that position, and kind of learned my lesson from the Chargers, which was hedge, because we could have hedged and been up more money, but we kind of let it ride and it just didn't swing our way. So I didn't want to leave it up to chance. So I did bet Miami, despite the fact that I also bet on the Rams, but it happens sometimes. Like, that's okay. Sometimes you get in those situations where like you have a pick, but if you have a chance to middle it and you want to go both ways, by all means, 100% go for it every time.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, it's about winning money. It's not about it's about being right, but it's more about winning money regardless. So I was wrong about the Rams, but I still won money on the game. So I'm not going to complain one way or the other after that.
yeah. Okay,
All
let's get
right.
into this game because I'm curious to hear your thoughts as to who you
Oh
like in this
boy.
one.
Yep. All right. So we're going to get into Thursday Night Football. Starting off week 11, it is the Washington Commanders as a division road dog, plus 168, traveling to the Lincoln Field at Philadelphia Eagles, minus 200. Eagles are getting the spread on FanDuel at 3.5 right now at minus 115 odds. This is a game you definitely want to shop around. I've seen some threes floating around. I've seen some 3.5s at plus 100 for the Eagles. Over under is pretty much set at a steady 48.5 total points. Eagles are getting 52% of the money. Washington is getting 51% of the bets. And you want my take, so do you want me to go first again, or do you have anything you want to shout at first?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. So the big thing that scares me, Philadelphia, 176 yards on the ground per game. Washington gives up 142.1. That looks to be the big advantage in the game, that the Eagles rush offense and they run the ball the most will probably have success against Washington's run defense, who strangely enough, or actually not strangely enough, teams are running against very consistently. So that looks to be the big stat in the game. But having said that, and I told you, when in doubt, take the points. And I've been terrible on Thursday, so I'm not going to bet a lot on this because I think I've lost 3 straight Thursdays now. I am going to go, and I really shouldn't. Dan Quinn. Is Dan Quinn a first-time head coach? I don't remember if he's.
No,
I
he
know
was the
he's
coach
been.
of the Falcons.
He was the coach of the. Okay, so you don't have the rookie coach with the Thursday. I'm going to go Washington plus 3.5. No confidence. I've been terrible on Thursday. But to me, when in doubt, take the points. I feel like these are two pretty good teams. I feel like they're pretty even. It's Thursday night football. I think this game's going to be close. I have a feeling the Eagles are going to win, but I could see this being another 1-point game, 2-point game, one of those 2-point conversions. Like, I think it's going to be another really good Thursday game like we got last week Baltimore, Cincinnati. So when in doubt, I'm going with the Commanders. I think you could tease the Commanders up to 9.5 and be sitting in a really good position. Like I said, I think the Eagles are going to be able to run the ball. That's my only fear with this handicap. But my power rankings basically tell me these teams are pretty even. So when in doubt, take the points. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I got the Eagles slightly above the Commanders. Not by 2. I think it's only by 2 spots. It's nothing too crazy. So there's a lot. This is a big trends game. I'm going to go and lay into the numbers for you. So overall this season, division road underdogs have actually done very well. ATS 9-7-1 ATS. They're only coming in 4-13 though, straight up on the money line. So they really don't tend to win these games at all whatsoever. They tend to cover more often than not. But going into this specific rivalry, it's very interesting because this is the 7th divisional Thursday night football matchup just this year. And I think the home teams have fared well in these spots. I don't know about ATS, but I think it's like 5-2 or 6-1, something like that.
Well,
but
let's see. Baltimore, Atlanta.
Baltimore won, Atlanta won, the Jets won against the Patriots. Miami was a loss against the Bills.
Miami, yeah.
God, I can keep. Oh, Dallas beat the Giants.
Yeah, Dallas beat the Giants. So yeah,
San Francisco beat the Seahawks.
Yeah. So yeah, mostly home victories.
So yeah, so we're looking. So this is the 7th one. So we're at 5-1. So that's the last 6. So home teams tend to really win in these spots, anyways. So overall, I'm gonna just without saying, Eagles money line is my play for this game because I do think it's a good spot for them. In terms of the spread, though, it gets more interesting. So Commies is a road dog, 10-5-1 ATS, but only 7-9 straight up since 2022. And divisional road dogs don't fare well, but since week 6, division road dogs have gone 5-0 ATS, but 1-4 straight up. So Philadelphia, they own the Washington franchise Commies football team since Jalen Hurts has been in the league, 5-1 straight up, but the Eagles are only 1-3-2 ATS in those 6 games. So I think you kind of got a perfect handicap going with 3.5, by the logic, taking the Commies plus 3.5, it makes logical sense. This is a spot, though, and this is my ultimate problem with that. Look at the point differentials with these two teams. The Eagles, in all but one game that they have won, they've won by 4 or more in those victories. Besides, and in the spots besides last week with the Washington Commies, where they lost by 1 to Pittsburgh, they lost really bad to a Tampa Bay Bucks in week 1. They lost by 7 to Baltimore. Realistically, you could say they should have lost to Chicago at home 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago now? And they kind of got caught last week in a luck spot, so Commanders are just kind of trending downwards, really, and the Eagles are either staying put or they're moving up. And looking at this rivalry, Philly would have covered this 3.5 number in 5 of those 6 games the last time, albeit with worse quarterbacks probably at the helm. So I'm taking a chance in betting Philly minus 3.5. I just think that the number, albeit the number is correct, I think the Eagles could easily cover this. If they're going to win, I think they easily cover 3.5. I don't think it's going to be like a 7, 10, 15-point blowout per se. So Commies up to 9.5. I think that's a great move as well. I don't see the Eagles really destroying them per se, but I just think that if you're looking 3.5 on the Commies, it just seems like a trap line because the Eagles normally will beat the Commanders by more, especially with Jalen Hurts. And a lot of those spreads too, when you look at them, I think there's only 2 games of difference with the Eagles as home favorites in divisional matchups. They're usually favored by 7 to 14 in those games, except for 2 instances. So now you're getting a very low 3.5. And in the point differentials, Commanders lose by more. Eagles usually win by big. So I'm going Eagles minus 3.5, but could go either way.
So let me give you. Let me just push back real quick. Philadelphia Eagles point differential on the year. Now, mind you, the caveat is one less game. Plus 72 for the Eagles, plus 73 for the Commanders. So closer than you might think. To play a little game, do you want to guess who has the best point differential in the league?
Oh, God. Is it Buffalo?
Ooh, no. Do you? Okay, ready? We'll do it this way. AFC, best point differential in the AFC. Who you got?
Oh, God. Okay, so if it's not Buffalo, I know it's not Kansas
Well,
City.
AFC. It could still be Buffalo.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. So if it's AFC, it's not Kansas City. It's not going to be. I don't think it's the Chargers. I don't think they've done enough.
Chargers are actually in third, plus 68.
Yeah, because they haven't played anybody on offense. That's why. Right, so the South sucks. I don't know. I guess Buffalo for the AFC.
Ding, ding, ding. Plus 97. Almost 30 points ahead of Pittsburgh, who's in second.
Okay, and the NFC, so God,
the NFC. This is the NFC team is the one that's in the lead.
There's no way it's Washington, is it?
Nope. Washington is second at plus 73.
Oh, and you said the Eagles were 72.
Eagles 72. I'm surprised you haven't got. Come on.
I really should get this. Is it Detroit?
You're being a dumbo. Detroit plus 113.
Okay.
That's
right. They had a big game. I forget. They had that big game against Tennessee. That's
Tennessee game, yeah. So,
yeah.
Okay, that was our little fun trivia section.
Yeah, I think also too, like this to me is like a big Eagles over total game. I mean, not just the run game too, but I think Washington's secondary has a lot of deep ball threat issues. Like we saw Mike. God, why am I forgetting his name again? It's not George Pickens, even though he had a couple of good throws too. Mike Williams on the deep ball was a big threat. And you know the Eagles, they love to throw the ball deep when they can to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. So I just have a feeling this Commanders defense is going to get torched Thursday Night Football. And division, like I said, division road dogs, like if the only spot is you're going to bet them to cover, and that number it's a key number, 3.5. I mean, I could lose and get the hook. So when I bet the 3.5 for Philly, I bet it at plus 100 because I got even money and I thought the value was there. But in all reality, if I get the Eagles minus 3, I would rather bet that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And just last point, your point is well taken. Washington, 22nd in opposing yards per pass at 7.9. So that supports your theory that they're not great against the deep ball because they give up far fewer passing yards per game than that. They're actually, I think, top 5 in pass yards per game allowed. So you were right about that one. Good call.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is an Eagles offense shining moment. I mean, the question is, what's this Eagles defense going to do? That's really the key. Eagles have to shut down Jaden Daniels, and if they can, they're gonna blow him out.
What I would suggest is you bet big bucks because I've been terrible on Thursday. So, yeah,
fair enough. All right, I got nothing left. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check us out on Spotify. Check us out on x.com/GGens podcast. Any other closing remarks, final comments, or concerns, Money Mansman?
No, that's it. We'll be back on Friday with our picks and some shit games and some really good ones. So stay tuned.
For week 12. We'll have to see if we get some Cinerator bets in. We'll see if we have another DGen parlay for you all. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Big Bucks Beta.
Money Man's been signing off, and as always,
Go win that motherfucking money, kid.